I truly believe in this. No matter what happens, we are God's children.
Yes.
And anything that happens in this world, we should benefit from it.
Yes.
But if you're walking around clueless and not paying attention, that's when you become the victim of what happens in the world.
That's real. That's real. Good stuff there, BT. So talk to me, Chris. Where are we with credit? What is it that we should? I hope we're gonna have her on next week. I see on your.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did our campaign thing for her yesterday.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Audia.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Looking forward to talking with her about her vision for becoming that district.
Yeah, she has a
attorney.
great vision.
Okay.
Great vision.
So what do we need to know about credit? Could it help us? Is it necessary? What does it look like for us? Talk to us.
So credit in itself is it's just a tool, right?
Okay.
And it's like a hammer. You can use it to hammer a nail, or you can use it to hammer your finger and put a bruise on it.
Oh, that was. Did you
Yeah.
catch that?
Yeah, that was good. That's true.
Ouch.
Ouch. You can
Man.
either do what again?
Yeah, you can hammer a nail, or you can hammer your finger. You know.
Keep
Yeah,
going.
and most people
Hold on.
hammer
I'm
their
just
fingers.
see I'm just like this.
Most people hit the fingers.
Right. Yeah.
T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a T-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, and all a credit score really is a metric that allows somebody that's gonna lend you money, something that you're not gonna pay for. It's a metric to let them know how well you do with other people that have lent you money. But
Any questions? So credit is a metric of what and how people will lend you money. So if you want to know base rules, he's just giving it to us right there. Okay, so what would someone need to know about credit? Now that we know what it is, what do we need to know about it so that we can be empowered? Can we pay off our current credit card with another credit card or a loan? Is it wise to do? Someone asked.
so there are in certain instances that does make sense. There are some credit cards that you can get if you have a good enough credit score where they will allow you to basically roll your debt over.
Balance transfer.
Balance transfer.
Mhm.
And then they'll offer you like a low interest rate for like a year or something.
Introductory rate.
Exactly, or a 0% interest rate for rolling that over. But the trick is you have to know what they're going to charge you at the end of that introductory time frame.
Because it after that introductory,
Yeah.
it skyrockets.
It does, and they usually charge back interest off of everything. So that whole year that it was free, they'll say, "Well, now we're going to charge you 22%
Wow.
over that year." When the credit card you transferred it from, the interest rate may have only been 10%.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you catch that, everybody? Okay, so the question was answered. Great stuff. They said, thank you so much for that answer. Okay, so and some credit cards have gotten hip to the game. They're not allowing you to do a balance transfer as easily anymore.
Right.
You're not seeing them as much. Remember, I believe that a lot of the credit crunch, and check your credit scores. If you'll notice, if any of you have credit cards, your credit cards might have gone up in the minimum payment due. I believe this is because as consumers and of the retail situation, I believe that the economy is attacking, and not in a defensive way to us necessarily. They're trying to cover themselves. So your minimum payments might be going up right now. You might have credit reduction. They may not approve you if they would have last week. It's not that you've done anything. You might have done nothing, but because they're protecting their interests, FDIC insured monies, they're wanting to make sure they're okay too, because this is happening. Pay attention to the news. What we're talking about is happening. Someone says, how can I get hard inquiries removed? Good stuff.
Well, credit repair people have become pretty savvy at getting certain things off of your credit. I mean, what they do is they require the person or the entity that has that inquiry on your report to show some type of proof that it was a legitimate inquiry. And a lot of times those companies don't keep up with that information. So the three credit bureaus and the government have implemented these policies that says if they cannot prove it, then we have to remove it from your credit report.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's a new law out, and a lot of people that own businesses might want to know this. It's beneficial information, and forgive me, the name has just escaped me. The beneficial law we were taught by Doug Rossborough.
Yeah.
If
that
you're
slipped my mind too.
because if you have business credit, and I'd like to make the distinction here, Chris, and I think all of us can speak about that. Business credit, if you have a business, do you know you can get your own credit and not in your name? However, a new law has arisen, and it's the beneficial ownership law. And basically, they can now look at your personal credit. They can run a soft inquiry to see if, just protect supposedly your identity. Now, that law just recently came. So if you try to go, say, for a fleet credit card. Say you want to go and get gasoline for your real estate business, and you want your street team to be able to charge the gas to Valero. Valero may say that's fine, but we want to still do the beneficial law to ensure that your personal credit is in some way in alignment with your business credit.
Wow.
And
I didn't even know about that.
that's new. And so because of that, it still allows them to run your personal social security number. How do I feel about that? That to me doesn't separate the LLC, the limited liability from the sole proprietorship. And if we're speaking over your head, what we're trying to say is that you have business credit and you have,
Personal credit.
you keep going guys, it's your turn. I'm just bringing up some thoughts.
Well, I think the first thing too to understand about credit that is good credit
Yeah,
and there's bad credit.
right.
And let's start off with the basics so that they can understand the difference between the two. Bad credit is you going to Galleria or a shopping mall and you purchasing items, clothing, things of that nature that does not create any cash flow for you.
That does not create
any income for you. That is bad debt. Good debt is you going out, you purchasing an asset that produces income, money into your pocket. So there's good debt and there's bad debt.
Right.
So when people say debt is bad, no, debt is good. It just depends on what type of debt that you are accumulating.
So I can't go get that makeup I need.
Oh man.
No, you got to understand that, and people need to also understand that what's the difference between liabilities and assets? Liabilities take money out of your pocket. Assets put money into your pocket. Period. Dot. So,
Oh, Chris, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, that's exactly right. I mean, an asset is something that produces income for you, or it increases your.
But some people are taught cars are assets. Are cars
If-
assets?
If a car is one of those things where in certain situations, if you drive an Uber, the car can be an asset because it's helping you make money.
Okay.
Right? But if you just buying a luxury car to have a luxury car, that's a liability. You know, or if you're buying a car that you really don't need, overspending on it, it's a liability. So the most important correlation with credit and whether it's good or bad is the interest. The interest rate, to put it in common terms, is just the cost that you're paying somebody else to use their money.
Can I ask another question?
Mhm.
If you buy a house to live in, is that an asset or a liability?
liability in my definition.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that
Did y'all get that?
that's a big debate. That's
Yeah.
a big debate amongst a bunch of people. The only way the primary residence that you live in could be an asset is if you are seeing value appreciation that's more rapid than the amount of expense that you have in the house. And what a lot of people don't think about, they think about just the mortgage payment.
Right.
But then you got the interest, you got the insurance, you got the upkeep on the house, you got the yard maintenance. So all that money that you're putting in the house, that all should be calculated. So if the value of the home is going up faster than that,
You're talking equity appreciation.
yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
that's very rare that it happens that it goes up that much.
Very
more consistently.
rare.
Yeah, so I'm like thinking, what house does that if you're paying $2,000 with all of those things a
Exactly.
month? So you're telling me that house has to appreciate over the percentage
Yes.
that your money is appraised at your value.
Yes. Most people don't realize if you do a 30-year mortgage, by the time you pay the bank off, you have paid twice the purchase price almost. It's like 185% of what the purchase. So if you buy a house for $200,000, by the time you pay it off, you paid the bank $350,000.
Wait, huh?
That's it.
Man.
Somebody
even know you had that
was saying, "Oh my God, I've been doing cashback apps." They're so I'm reading that going, and they're like, "Oh no," because this is these conversations people look forward to them, y'all. But then we go,
Yeah.
"That's what we doing." So say that again.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let me put it another way. Anything where you're paying interest on, if you are not making more money than the interest, then it's really a liability.
Write that down, please, because I need somebody. If what?
Write it down.
That's heavy.
That's it. So that's why he's saying, like, if you use it for a business, that's good. If you got a line of credit with a bank and they're charging you 8% to use that money, but then you can go make a 15% return on whatever you're doing with that money, you're making a 7% profit.
Come on, see, that's why I like you.
So that's an asset.
See?
Okay, so it has to make more money than the interest you're being charged
Exactly.
to be considered an asset.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how helpful that is?
It really is.
So, if Keisha goes and buys her dream house, and her dream house is $1,500 a month, and her interest on the house is at 4%. Well, that could be considered annually, monthly, or 30-year. Depends on how you want to break that down. So let's just say it's annually, 4% on what would that be? Let's just say her house is $140,000, and we take that and we say that $140,000 has a 4% interest rate. You're basically saying, look at those numbers, calculate the $140,000 by the 4%, and see what that is, and break that down in the annual, but divided by 12. If that number, basically y'all math. You gotta do some math.
It works this time.
Yeah.
It really works this time. Yes, yeah, it works this time. So then you look at that number, and if it's not bringing more than that to you at the end of the year after Homestead, you see my face?
It's a reality. Most people
Hold on.
It's stuff that should be.
See,
taught.
this is the thing.
Yeah.
We have a house, but we took it and moved someone else in it.
That becomes an asset.
We know. So we were like, we're going to let them have the big house, but let somebody else pay for it. And it may seem strange that, we were in a little bitty place compared to the house that has the pool. Seriously. But they paid the note.
So what you're saying is rent what you own, and where you live in, you rent.
Right now,
Yeah.
because we were wanting to just continue to build up the ownership so that the real estate and the investments could pay for the mortgage, so that you're not paying for it and begging for a job to keep your house note. Your investments pay your house note, your car note, your utilities.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people, and I think that's part of the misconception that a lot of people have. Everybody's like, buy a house, and that's good in certain situations. You have to buy smart. You have to buy correctly.
Right.
And so I do recommend exactly what you guys are doing.
Right.
So a lot of people I recommend rent your primary residence, because you have a fixed living cost every month.
Yep.
You know if you're trying to budget very well, you know exactly how much you're going to spend on housing.
Right.
When you own the house, when things go wrong,
Yep.
that comes out your pocket. There's a whole bunch of other maintenance and upkeep expenses you have with the house.
Yeah.
So why not, if you want to have the benefits of home ownership, why not buy a house as an investment, have somebody else move into it, and pay all the expenses tied to that house? You still get all the benefits from it, and you can make a profit, because whatever you're making above the mortgage and all that kind of stuff from the rent is profit that goes in your pocket. And you still get the value appreciation, you still get the tax write-offs, you still get everything.
And you are building your net worth.
Yeah.
And you're building your net worth, but it's still tough. We've had some. This isn't an easy process. We've had some issues with navigating it because we didn't have maybe the right mentorship. But I'll tell you, driving by the big house with the nice pool and all of that, and I go, wow, let's go see how the house is doing. Are they keeping up with it? Okay, let's go on back. But the thing is this, it's getting the mindset ready to say, what are you loyal to? What matters to you? And I think me and Brian were talking about that today. We're making a trip to the bank when we finish with everything we have for this morning, because we have to make sure that banks are also being loyal to us. Right now, everyone is trying to figure out their space. And that said, do banks look at credit scores?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, bank definitely. That's the first thing I look at, because they're in the business of lending money.
Very nice. Even to get a checking account, do you need to have good credit?
Nowadays,
Yeah,
probably. I don't think you do, but I would not be surprised if they transition to that too.
Yeah, I think the only thing that bank, when you open for a checking account, I think the only thing they look at to see if you have like IRS loans and stuff like that, where the IRS is going to try to come take the money.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
I don't know about much else besides that.
Do paying your IRS taxes, does that affect your credit?
If you don't pay them, it does, because they can put liens on you. That they actually put a blanket lien off of everything you own, on everything you own if they want to. So and it's like a public notification that anything that you own, the IRS has the right to take it, to sell it, to get what you owe them.
Someone says, or you can rent out a couple of rooms in your house. That's very popular in New York, East Coast, and in the West Coast. South, you don't hear about that much.
No, it's more of an Airbnb thing here if you want to make some money off your house. You know?
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm very funny about my space. So for me, that wouldn't be an option that I'm comfortable with. Some people, I think that works. And if that does for you, by all means, I know people here that rent rooms, right? So yeah. Do you think that's a bad thing?
No, it's a good thing.
Yeah. If you're able to do it, absolutely.
If you're saving and producing money from it, it's not a bad thing. It's just something you have to deal with, which is the inconvenience of it at the time.
What is a good credit score? When is a credit score in the works of becoming good? Do you have any companies you recommend to help with credit repair? Not that we can endorse them, but just do we know of any that have worked?
I've used credit repair companies before personally. So, especially when entrepreneurship, not everything goes right. And I had a business that I had basically had to walk away from. I had a partner that was like spending the business money on himself. And it's like I just figured I wasn't gonna pay it.
You can't. They have to understand that.
Yeah.
So what do you mean? Because on the call, people don't even understand that what you just said. I do, but
So let me explain to you like this. So
listen.
we started this was the hair extension franchise business. We both brought $50,000 to the table to open the business. That's between the franchise fee. That's between getting the space set up, buying all the products that we needed, getting all the equipment for the facility.
50,000 a piece. So it took 100 grand to get this salon.
It took 100 grand to get the salon. Wow. So, but he didn't have a business mindset, and so this is what happened. Once we opened, and revenue started coming in for the business,
yeah,
he started taking that money and living off of that money because his mindset was, I put $50,000 in, I should be able to take money out immediately. But that business had not broken even yet. So that money needed to go back into the business. It needed to be reinvested in more product. It needed to be used to pay the labor for the staff we have, for the administrator, for the manager.
Right.
The utilities, all that stuff, until the business brought in enough revenue on its own to break even and then become profitable. And so what happened was we had to start using the business credit lines to keep the business afloat because he took the cash out to live off of. Wow. And so I basically had to sever that partnership. And there was some debt that was tied to that had my social security number on it because we had to co-sign for loans. I just had to walk away from it. I'm like, I'm not paying that.
So even though why was your social and not the EIN number attached?
Well, it's when you're first starting out in business, they still look at you personally because
that's right.
Yes.
And they've made it law.
Yeah.
That's the beneficial ownership law I was speaking of.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's explaining some things. Two things have come up to you all. Somebody said, I'm working with a credit repair company. They're in St. Louis. They said, it's helping me so much. Someone who lives in Houston from New York say, what do they actually do? So before you answer that, we have someone else that says here, just do it yourself. All you have to do is write certified letters to the credit bureau disputing what's going on your report. I want to know, and I've done that before. When we got our first house, we did that. We went and personally did that. And this was years ago, probably 2002, 2001.
Yeah.
We did that. Would that work the same now, or is there any benefit to doing something in addition to writing the letters? I don't even know.
Well, I had actually used one, and he was excellent. I used an attorney.
Okay.
That was with a real estate investment company. And that gentleman did amazing things for my credit. I mean, things that they say they could not get off.
Right.
He actually was able to remove.
So this listener is saying that we did that, the old school, write them and say this is, to dispute it. Is there anything in addition to that credit companies do, credit repair? We don't know.
I think it's experience because I'm talking major like bankruptcies were able to come off.
So you're saying,
You know what to say?
so let me, yeah. So here's what I think happens. If you have major things like foreclosures, bankruptcies, and you have 3-tier level of situations, business debt like that, perhaps it'd be good to get a company to help. And if you don't have a lot of the time. So Brittany Williams, I love that you're even responding to that. Perhaps when it gets real detailed and a lot more laborious, go ahead and take the opportunity to let someone else do it. I'm thinking that's what we're going with. The continuum changes with ease. If you got a few things that are Foley's back then, I said Foley's. Foley's and fingers, maybe you want to do that. But if you're dealing with things, that have a little bit more oomph, you might want to go into, getting some help, right?
Yeah. definitely.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
So you had to do this, and you believe in that. So what was the other question? Somebody says credit score has gone up 80 points with using a credit repair.
Yeah.
That's good, Sharon.
Awesome. Woo, clap your hands on
Wait,
that, y'all.
this is a testimony because I remember when she was in our finance class and she was like, I needed to learn this because my credit is really bad. Since the class, she got credit repair help and her credit score has increased.
Wow, that's
Love
awesome.
it.
Congratulations.
This is what changing the narrative does.
Congratulations.
Man, Shan, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
I want you to meet Chris when you come down. She'll be here in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
For the retreat. You should be there. We're going to have beach fun, man. Beach fun.
Okay.
Beach fun. We're in Galveston. All right. What else? What's going on?
I do. Well, here's what I do. I want to go back to the tariffs real quick, and I want to give like a macro. When I say if we're God's children, then we should all benefit for what takes place in the world.
Right.
And here's where you got to start thinking as an investor. And I'll give this example because we brought up the tariffs. When those layoffs
Take place, right?
right? When
Right.
they take place,
Yes.
what's going to happen? People are not going to be able to afford their mortgage anymore.
Facts.
Or those who were planning to purchase a mortgage will not be able to get one.
Facts.
So what's going to take place? They're going to go what? Rent.
Okay.
So if you know this is going to take place, you should be positioning yourself today to be able to benefit for what's coming down the road.
Okay.
See, that's putting yourself in position
Right.
to benefit. Now, and also to be able to do that is credit. Credit is a tool, right?
Right.
There's spiritual money, smart money, and dumb money.
Right.
Those are the three forms of money. Most people operate in the sense of dumb money, not being aware, not understanding credit. So,
And he doesn't mean it as a dig. Let's be clear.
no, it's not.
Okay.
It's not a dig. I'm just saying most people operate in that form because they're not educated on money.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that said,
With it.
you want to use credit to be able to put yourself in position.
Okay.
So you can start, you want to have your credit scores high.
Okay.
You want to not buy things that's not going to put money into your pocket.
Okay.
So these are practices that you can start positioning and getting yourself ready for when these tariffs take place. You can be able to take advantage of it.
Okay.
And not advantage of people, but the advantage of the situation and what's taking place. That's an investor mindset.
That's
You're
an
always looking at the macro economy and breaking it down to how you can benefit from it.
This is good stuff. I'm loving it. People asked about the credit score. I said 700 is a good score. Somebody said I stayed at 500 for years, but now I'm in the 600s and I have a long way to go, but I'm happy. I'm improving. Somebody said I'm at 630. This is exciting because they're becoming aware based on Financial Fitness Fridays, y'all.
Right.
This
That's
is
awesome.
what's up, man. And by the way, just to notice on Facebook, the strangest thing, it says we have one viewer, but literally I've waved at over 10 people, 15, 20. I don't understand just know this, y'all, they playing with analytics for whatever reason. So I'm waving at many more people than one. So whatever's going on, just keep encouraged if it matters to you. And if the information blesses you, let us know. info@hopeoverhurt.org. If you feel as though these types of morning conversations get you thinking, that's what we want. We want to change the narrative. We want to pray about it. But faith without works
It's dead.
is dead. And so I thank God for you all listening in. Chris, I hope you feel like it's worth your time.
Yes, ma'am.
How can we find you?
ChrisSenegal.com is the easiest way to get in contact with me. And
ChrisSenegal.com.
there we go. And it has links to all of my social media.
Has a link to all of his social media. Folks, I tell you what, it's a blessing to have him here. Just know it's always good to see someone doing good things in the community. Look him up. Keep supporting the vision. He bought back the block. I'm just saying, if you're looking for something to understand this. Your money matters because God wants you to also control it. How you steward your seed is also part of the faith test. With that said, we're at the 7 o'clock hour. That's all we have time for today.
Man,
It seems like you just went
that was
like,
by quick.
It did go
Right.
fast.
it went by fast. We thank God for each and every one of you. Make it a fantastic weekend. Until we meet again, may God completely be in your midst. Know that He has never left you. Today is special because you're in it. And we will talk to you Monday morning. bright and bushy-tailed early. I'm Wendy J. Turner. This is the Hope Overheard family. EA is here. Merlene is with us. BT is up in here.
Yo.
And Chris is saying goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
We love you. Oh, this went so quick. We didn't even get any music really in.
Guess what?
What?
FM Houston. I don't do the
Uh,
most, but
Turn
I
up.
do a lot.
I did that first segment.
I'ma make a toast,
We
'cause
got